Morning, everybody. Today is the seventh day in the month of February 2022. My name is Heritage Adisa, market analyst at HotForex. And quickly, as usual, we'll check through the markets, see what the dominant sentiment is, see the opportunities, and then how we can take advantage of it. But please remember that this is just a communication material, and nothing in this communication should be considered as investment advice or investment recommendation. Users acknowledge that investment in FX and CFD products is characterized by a certain degree of uncertainty, and that any investment of this nature involves a high level of risk for which users are solely responsible and liable. Now, what we have this morning in terms of the overall market environment is a more mixed start to the week, right? I had this written down earlier. I said markets start the week undecided, right? We have tepid moves across board from the equity space, even to FX. FX a little bit mixed, although with FX, it's tilting more towards a more risk-on environment, right? We'll get to that now shortly, right? I also wrote that this is on the back of a volatile week we had last week. Last week we had the ECB, we had the BOE. Last week we had NFP, we had a couple of job numbers, all of job numbers, even GDP from last week from different aspects of the world, right, in terms of the major currencies, and then a lot of volatile moves from last week. And then starting the week, markets are more in a hangover, right, looking to still digest some of the results that we had last week. For now, Euro is lagging amongst the major FX, right? We've seen it down across board despite having a solid week last week following the ECB's hawkish tilt. Right now, the reason for the downs that we're seeing, first of all, we could call it profit taking. That's number one. And number two, we've had two speakers as well come out from the ECB make comments, right? We first had, Kazakh saying that, a July hike is very unlikely. It's unlikely as of now because market participants, some of them are starting to price in about 10 basis point hike for the European Central Bank, right? Around July, right? Now, in as much as that is a fast shift from where we are a couple of weeks back. I mean, it's there and markets are pricing it in. And it's one of the reasons that you saw that solid jump to the upside from, the ECB meeting on Thursday last week. Now, he said that might not really be likely going into half of the year, then that meeting, that period of time, there's that to watch out for. That could be one of the reasons that we're seeing the downside in the euro. Apart from that, we've also had not come out as well from the ECB as well, but he sees a hike from Q4 of 2022. In as much as that is good, right, plays into the hawkish tilt, right? It's also more similar if they don't get a hike in July. Who says they can't get another one in Q4, right? So, but there's all that to also pay attention to. For now, euro has seen some downside in today's session, and it's not really a surprise. You look at how the kind of massive upside that we saw last week, right? This is also always going to be due in terms of pullback, right? But all things considered, if there is nothing really in the way of further pressure on the European Central Bank from the European Central Bank members in terms of speeches, we have Lagarde later today. Apart from that, if you don't have anything in terms of sentiment to really hamper the joy that the bulls feel right now, I still expect to see further upside for the euro even going into the week. But we have to hold that on one side, pay attention to member speeches as well as data going forward. On the commodity currency side, they are leading the FX majors. We have NZD leading the FX majors. We have CAD supported. We also have AUD also supported on the day, right? Like I said, for the currencies is more of a tilt towards risk on. Dollar trades mostly mixed, right, in today's session, right? On the weak side, we have euro pressured, we have JPY pressured, as well as the Swiss franc pressured on the day. Right? Equities trade lackluster, like I mentioned, right? Tiny bit higher in today's session, but nothing really, really major to hold on to so far. Oil holds flat today, even continuing from Friday. Yes, we could say that overall oil prices are still well supported, but and the reason for that, obviously, increased demand with more restrictions being eased. That obviously has helped pick up demand, especially transport demand as well. But supply constraints still remain. So all of that still is a worry for, or it's one of the reasons why you're seeing oil prices keep pushing higher. But one thing I want to also call attention to is, despite the high side that we've seen in oil prices, today it's trading flat, Friday traded flat. And apart from that, you look at over the last couple of weeks now, for like 8 weeks stretch, we've seen gains in oil prices. So at some point, we'll get some, pullbacks, and that will be something to pay attention to. We'll look at that now in a bit, right? The VIX trades flat so far. The bond market holds onto losses from Friday's NFP solid print, right? And then in the day ahead, we have a super light economic calendar. Looking across the markets, just quickly looking at the chart, taking a quick look at the chart. Good. Now, you see, for equities, right, this is today's session. Today's 7th of February. This is the US 500. US 500, and then we've seen lackluster moves or behavior in price so far in today's session, right? And then just a couple of minutes now, it was a tad higher in the day. But like I said, now we are back in a range. We're not doing so much to start the day. So obviously that obviously tells you the mixed environment or highlights the mixed environment that we have currently. So there's that to watch out for. And it's a very similar story across most of the major equities, especially on the US side, right? So there's that to watch out for oil, like I was talking about. Now, oil prices, now this is even nice since some of pullbacks currently, but like I said, oil prices trading lackluster so far today. Friday, yes, we got in higher, but towards the end of the day, like I was trying to point out, we really just remained, in a very messy price action, right? You look at how this has been really choppy, and then so far today session, we're seeing that much chop as well. Now, like what I was trying to say is, look over the last couple of weeks. I mean, you've seen consistent gains, right, in oil prices for the week. And then you've seen that right now we've pushed high above currently, now back below the $90 per barrel, but still trading around that region. Nothing says we can see some form of pullback from this area, right? I mean, this is solid gains for the month of December, the month of January, and now we are also pushing high already in February. Nothing says we can't see some form of pullback, right? I would prefer to see even pullbacks, but the buyers around oil is still very much on the bullish side, right? For the dollar index so far, right, lackluster trading. I mean, in today's session, trading very much mixed. Just quickly looking at this, right? Quickly loading up. Is loaded. Okay, I think yes, we're back now. Okay, this loading is taking a little bit of time to load, but in so far, this is today. Today is 7th of February. Since so far, lackluster movement. And then last week we had a solid downside for the dollar, and even the solid beat in NFP could not really keep the dollar supported on the back of that. So right now, still a mixed environment, still highlighting such environment. It's a Monday ahead of a very light economic calendar. Really, this is not a surprise, and it's likely that it could even continue if there are no major changes in terms of the sentiment later in the day. I've mentioned in terms of strengths and weaknesses of currency. Before I go quickly, the VIX also trading very lackluster, even from Friday as well as even Thursday. That obviously tells you the kind of environment that we have so far. Yes, we're below 25 level. I like to see VIX way back below 20 level to give me more confidence for upside in equities. But for now, it's even better off than what we had in the month of January. So there's that for now. Mixed environment. And in the mixed environment, what do you want to do? Normally, you want to be more patient, wait out for better opportunities, wait out for something more clearer, something more, solid in terms of biases, something with more confidence, right? Yes, you could look at the weakness in the euro right now as a form of pullback. I'll look at that now in a bit, but generally, I want to be more patient. If sentiment improves later in the day, if we have sentiment push higher later in the day, I will like that. I'll prefer to see, strength, some like AUD, right? Particularly against the likes of NZD. I'd like to see that play out. We'll look at that now in a bit. Let's just quickly look at that. For the majors, like I said, it's really still a very lackluster environment, right? Like I said, I would like to see equities recover more. If I see equities recover more, currency pairs that will be on my mind with currency pairs like, let's say AUD USD, good AUD USD we want to play out with. If we see equities push higher, right now on AUD USD, we're trading very at finding resistance at this 0.71 level. You can see previous support going back to 7th of December as well as 13, 14 December as well as 17, 18th of December. Similar story again on the 23rd thereabouts of this January, and now we are back trading at that level as a form of resistance. I like to see equities recover more. If I see equities push higher, then I would like to see these break back above this retest and then look for further upside pushes on this particular one. For now, though, I wouldn't be looking to jump on that. I will still be more patient. But like I said, if equities continue to recover, if we see equities push higher, US 500, US 100, US 30 push higher, then I will be interested in something like that, especially with the recent weakness that we've seen in the dollar, right? And then that will be one I want to pay attention to. For the euro, now for the euro, like I mentioned earlier, we saw solid push, to the upside. So in a second, right? Right. So we saw solid push to the upside last week when we looked at euro from the ECB meeting. This is euro versus the pound. We saw that strong push to the upside from last week Friday, from the ECB meeting where they gave us that more hawkish tip. Now, I still like this to the upside. Yes, with comments like what Noka said and what Kazaka said this morning, it's something that you want to also be very, very, very watchful about. And later in the day, we have ECB Lagarde also on the wire. So obviously, that is one to pay attention to. But if they don't change their tone, if they give us more of a hawkish tilt, more, solidify that stance, I like to see further upside on this particular pair. Remember that we've been trading at the discount for a while. Right, you look at the levels that we're trading at. I mean, the downside we've seen for the euro against even the pounds throughout 2021 has been a solid one. So right now, I like the upside that we're seeing. We're currently holding on around this key level here, this key support level around 0.85 right now. Let's see. 0.845, right? So interesting one to pay attention to. If Lagarde keeps that hawkish bias as well, I would like to see it push higher from here. But more interestingly for me, I would really prefer a pullback towards this 0.841. That would be a more attractive level for me in terms of further upside if Lagarde keeps that hawkish bias. For now, we're going to keep it a little bit simple, keep it patient, wait out for more or better opportunities before we look to jump into anything serious. On the calendar today, like I said, it's really a light one. Nothing in terms of tier one data to pay attention to. So I'm going to watch out for sentiment, watch out for how markets price in central bank's hike. Going forward, that would be one to very attentive about. But for now, keep it simple, mixed environment. Yes, euro is pressured, right? On the other side, we have the NZD, and the card leading the FX majors to the upside. So that's it for now. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask, and we'll always do our best, to help. Thank you. Do enjoy the rest of your trading session. Goodbye for now.